Hello there, students. It's me, Mr. Stark. Today is Thursday, and I'm getting a video ready for Friday on invertebrates. Today in class on Thursday, we talked about, we talked about vertebrates. Those are things that had a spinal column that was protected by bone or cartilage. Today, all of our things that we're going to classify or deal with will not have a spinal column. They will not have a spine. They won't have any cartilage protecting their nervous system. They're all going to be what we know as invertebrates. So invertebrates, we're going to take, I have on Google Classroom here, I have a set of notes, not very much, but it's got lots of good information in it. So again, with classification, we're grouping organisms together by characteristics that they have. And all of these organisms do not have a spinal column. So they either have some sort of protection on the outside or they don't have any at all. Okay, so these are classes of invertebrates. So let's look at the first one, Porifera. Porifera means, pore means it has holes in it. Pore bearers, like a sponge. Cnidarian is a type of organism that has stinging cells, like a jellyfish. Okay, then there's some classes of worms. Platyhelminthes. Plat and flat rhyme. They go together. They are the flat worms. Nematodes are the roundworms. These are the ones that you get your dogs and cats vaccinated for at the vet to prevent them from getting heartworm or hookworm or any of those things of that nature that make your animals, your critters, nice and very sick. And then we have annelids. They are the segmented worms. That would be like your earthworms or night crawlers. All of those are a classes of worms. And then we have mollusks. In the mollusks, there are gastropods. Gastro means stomach. Pod means foot. Stomach, foot. Okay, so a slug or a snail, they walk on their stomach. A bivalve is something that is hinged together, like a clam. Okay, they have two parts and they're hinged together. A cephalopod, cephalo means head. Pod means foot, head foot, like a squid or an octopus. Crustaceans, they have a segmented body and a tough outer shell. So like a crayfish or a lobster. An arachnid is an 8-jointed legged animal. You know these as there's spiders. There's the movie Arachnophobia. That's the people that have a fear of spiders. And finally, or not finally, insects. They have 3 body parts and 3 sets of legs. So they have 6 legs, and so they have a head, abdomen, and a thorax, and 3 sets of legs. 6 legs in total. And then finally we have the echinoderms. They are things that show radial symmetry. So something from, they have the same, if you look in the middle of them, the distance from the middle to the end, to the middle to the end, the middle to the end, all the different rays are symmetrical. So a starfish is a very good example of this, or a sand dollar. So you might be wondering why I'm going through all of this. I have an activity I want you to do. So you use these notes here to do this, to classify and organize these invertebrates. Okay, so all of these, the anemone, butterfly, clam, coral, crab, earthworm, grasshopper, hydra, jellyfish, they're all got spots in here. Okay, so we talked about a jellyfish. Okay, jellyfish have stinging cells. Okay, their tentacles hang down in the water. If something touches it, they sting it, and then they grab it and they ingest it and eat it. Okay, that we talked about in our notes. Cnidarians have stinging cells. Poriferas have holes. Flatworms are flat. Roundworms are round. Annelids are segmented. Gastropod is a head foot. Bivalve is a hinged valve like a clam. Cephalopod is like a head foot, and a crustacean has a hard outer shell and 3 body segments. Arachnids have 8 legs. Insects have 6 legs. And echinoderms have radial symmetry. So each of these individual organisms here have a spot down here. Okay, and that's your charge for today, is to figure out where they go. Okay, you got a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can write them on here, and you can send that back to me. Or you can print these cards out that have all the different things, the organisms that are in that list. Okay, and then you could figure out where they would go on this board. So how many of the cnidarians, how many of those cards would you put over by the cnidarians? Well, if we look over here, we would have at least, we would have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of these things have stinging cells and would go right here on the cnidarians. So the next part of this, I'm going to stop this video, and the next part is I'm going to use cards and show you where all of these go. So there's going to be 2 videos. I'm stopping this one now, and we're going to set up for using the cards and placing them on the game board.